Hi guys, it's Dr. Denney over at Four Paws, and today we're going to chat a little bit about common dog eye conditions. So Maddie's going to start us off.
Dr. Denney, how can I tell if my dog's eye is injured?
So I think the best way to tell is that you're actually looking at it and you see that something's not normal. This may be that they're red, there's discharge coming out of the eye, it's tearing, it's squinting at you. If you can't open your eye, if your dog doesn't want to open their eye, that's indicating that something hurts really bad. Swelling, if there's a growth, if there's a cyst, if they're pawing at their eye, if their eyelids are swollen, are going to be kind of our main ways of seeing like, hey, is there a problem? Or if you notice like a growth on your dog's eye that needs to be checked out. So a simple visual exam and just paying attention at home will handle this pretty well for you.
Are certain dog breeds more prone to eye issues?
I feel like they are. So I feel like all of my smush dog faces, so that's gonna be like, they're called brachycephalic, also known as like your bulldogs, your Frenchies, your Boston Terriers, your Cavalier King Charles Spaniels. Any dog with a smushed or short nose is gonna be a little more prone to eye issues, like your Shih Tzus, your Lhasa Apsos, your Pekingeses, your Pomeranians even in some cases, because they have very shallow orbits. So those breeds tend to have more eye issues, I would say, but you can see them in any breed.
How will cataracts be diagnosed in a dog, and what is the treatment?
So cataracts is where the lens, this is what the light filters through, okay, to the back of the eye, is where the lens becomes super thickened, okay, and it's basically like almost mineralized. So no light can get to the back of the eye. I cannot see to the back of the retina when I'm looking with my scope, and they cannot therefore see out. So how it's diagnosed is on exam. We can see it. It looks like a starburst in their eye. And not the starburst of the candy, but like an actual, like, oh look, there's a shooting star, it's super bright and white. So if we see something like that, like on a physical exam, that's going to be enough to make a diagnosis. Now, as far as treatment, the only treatment that is 100% for cataracts is cataract surgery, just like they do in people. So if you have an older person in your life or someone in your family that's have cataract surgery, they basically liquefy the disease lens and they put an artificial lens in. It's actually quite amazing because these animals wake up and they can see. There was a case that I saw in vet school. It was an older golden that was diabetic. She was about 8 or 9 and she'd been blind for 2 years, and she was my patient. And when she woke up, I was right there with her, and I got to take her outside for the first time, and she hadn't been able to see in 2 years. And just seeing, you could see the joy on this dog's face, like, oh my God, there's the grass and that's a bird, and oh my gosh, my vision's back. So there is cataract surgery. There are veterinary ophthalmologists that can perform this surgery, but it's a highly rewarding surgery and it is a fix.
Can a dog get pink eye, and is it contagious to other pets and people?
So dogs can 100% get pink eye, but pink eye is actually a condition called conjunctivitis, and that's just inflammation of the pinky part underneath your eyelids, so kind of like this part. And if that can get inflamed or irritated or infected, that is basically what pink eye is. So generally with upper respiratory infections, we will see conjunctivitis. And if it is a upper respiratory tract infection, then yes, that can be contagious. It's usually not going to be contagious to people, but it can be contagious to other dogs. And there are different types of conjunctivitis, allergic conjunctivitis, viral conjunctivitis, bacterial conjunctivitis. So there's a lot of itises there, but the main thing is that it's just inflammation of the pink part, of the fleshy part around the eye.
What can I do for my dog that has a cherry eye?
So cherry eye is a condition where there's a third little eyelid gland that sits right down here that you usually can't see. This gland is there to help produce tears. And in some dogs, the ligament that holds it down in place can be a little stretchy, and the gland can pop out. And cherry eye is like this bright red gland. It'll look like there's a little like red tumor right here on your dog's eye. They are typically not bothersome to the dog as long as they're not traumatized. They can traumatize them, in which case then they need to come in and have meds. You'll know because it'll be even more red or even bleeding. But cherry eye generally won't cause an issue. It can be surgically repaired. I personally do not recommend removing the gland because those patients can end up with dry eye later in life, and that's a lifelong treatment that they're going to have for that condition. There is a surgery that can tack the gland back down performed by a veterinary ophthalmologist, and that's going to carry a little bit of a better prognosis. Now that repair can fail, but it has a much more likelihood of not failing if it's done by a veterinary ophthalmologist.
What is the best way to give my dog their eye medication?
That's a great question. So if you have a really easygoing dog, then coming right at them and holding their eyelid up and dropping could work. If you have a dog that thinks that you're about to punch their eyes out when you're coming straight at them, then we're gonna have to find a different way because that's not gonna happen. So if we have a patient that's super head shy or the eye is super painful and they're really fighting you, I like to come from behind the head, and I'll use like maybe my pinky or my ring finger, and I'll come over and I kind of just aim and drop. And you want to kind of have their head tilted back up, but if you're not coming directly at them, it's not so scary. And then by the time you know it, the drop's in. So, and then also reward them with a treat or something yummy and lots of praise. That way they know they've done a good thing, because it can be scary getting eye drops. I have people that I work with up here that if they get something in their eye and I have to flush their eye out, it's like they think they're gonna die because they just don't like people touching their eyes, which I understand 100%. I wear contacts for so many years that eyes don't gross me out, but they do other people. So I hope this helped answer some questions about common dog eye conditions. If you do think that your dog is suffering from an eye condition, please feel free to call and make an appointment. Thank you.